The first is obviously it is frustrating that the European economies aren't growing faster. We've seen Britain's growth figures out today, and it shows broadly based and relatively strong economic growth. We're now growing at 3% a year. It's good that construction and manufacturing are showing strong like-for-like growth over the last year. We're building homes, we're building businesses, we're making things again in Britain. You can see a strong recovering economy with an economic plan that is working and that is putting our people back to work, with almost 1.8 million more people in work than the day I became Prime Minister. That is very positive, but we have to be frank. There are threats to the British economy from slow growth in Europe and challenges in other parts of the world. And so it's very important to play a role here in encouraging other countries to make the structural reforms that we've made, to make sure people set and stick to targets in terms of deficit reduction, and make sure that Europe does the key deals in terms of completing the single market and services, signing trade deals with the fastest growing parts of the world, the things that will make a difference to get this continent, to get these economies growing faster, which will be good for them and good for Britain. That's the frustration. But that leads me on to, frankly, the downright anger about something that has come about at this European Council. And that is the completely unjustified and sudden production of a bill for Britain of £1.7 billion to over €2 billion that is apparently supposed to be paid by the 1st of December. This is completely unacceptable. It is an unacceptable way for this organisation to work, to suddenly present a bill like this for such a vast sum of money with so little time to pay it, and it's an unacceptable way to treat one of the biggest contributors to the European Union. That is why this morning I interrupted the Council meeting that was discussing the economy and said that before we went any further, this had to be discussed urgently, and we needed to start to seek a resolution to it urgently. And in that, I was supported by the Italian Prime Minister, by the Dutch Prime Minister, by the Maltese Prime Minister, the Greek Prime Minister, and others. And so there will be an emergency meeting of finance ministers to discuss what has happened. And I think it's vital that that happens. Let me just make a couple of points about this. First of all, now, according to the Commission, it is an estimate. It is not a final figure. And we need to make sure the Commission start answering questions and the experts start answering questions about how on earth these numbers were arrived at. Because let me put it like this. Of course, in an organisation like this, if your economy grows a little faster or your economy grows a little slower, there are adjustments. And there can be adjustments every year. And we've seen them. Sometimes you pay a little bit more, sometimes you pay a little bit less. But it has never been the case that a €2 billion bill has suddenly been presented. And it is not acceptable. It is an appalling way to behave. I'm not paying that bill on the 1st of December. If people think they got another thing coming. It is not going to happen.